this hour because I was not expecting to be joining you for commentary. But they're off.
Here we go.
We find...
We get a heart container and bombs turn out to be the first two items we find. That's good for ninjembro, which means Freddeh will also find them, and you don't have to worry about getting bombs. Hey, we got a map check. I saw Tower of Hero be the blue pendant up on top.
Yeah, and I saw Eastern Palace with the green pendant, and some crystal, I didn't catch which one, for the Desert Palace.
Two different strategies. Freddie's going to try to go on over towards the Haunted Grove, see if he can't get lucky with the bombs underneath the bushes, and ninjembro pulling the tree to find, hey, fairies is tier 1 this time.
It's actually quite a convenient tier 1 pull to have if you ever need a refill and know your 3 spots.
Yeah, but not quite the refill you want to see 51 seconds into a run.
No, that's definitely true. Let's see what else escape. The front bit of escape holds, and it's just 2 hearts in there. 2 big hearts
to find.
It's always nice to find a couple of those early on in the seed there.
We do see an arrow upgrade in the library, so we are not going to be seeing them dashing into a case of books in order to bring it down. If you're just tuning in, they have found nothing yet. They still haven't found anything.
Yeah, the only additional thing we've really gained so far is that Eastern Palace is a green pendant, Tower of Hera is another pendant, and Desert Palace is some kind of crystal.
And inside the chicken coop, a piece of heart. Oh, let's see if Aghanim has required this seed. Oh, silver arrows! Oh!
Well, he is definitely, according to the logic, he's definitely going to be required, but I doubt either of our runners will go for that unless they absolutely have to.
So, only way they're going to get silvers is if they're forced to go to Aghanim.
That's so interesting little item to find that out. And we find the first bottle, which is really convenient in Kakarika Village. And the sword.
We get our first sword. And we also found where the boomerang is. And the book.
And Quake on the left side. That's quite a lot of items.
Okay, now we actually have to put Blast Egg into work.
Yeah. I know he'll do a good job there. Tracked 4-way races alongside him in the past, and he's always done a really good job on those other 2 runners.
Well, we get money. There's the second bottle. So I'm wondering if the sick kid has something.
Yeah. It certainly seems likely at this point, with how early that bottle was. Oh, we'll find out very shortly, because I doubt either of them will skip it now.
Well, with the book and this sword, Freddeh now has a few options. Maybe Desert Ledge might have something, we don't know.
I do know a lot of runners like going right into Desert Palace if they get that early book. Often even skipping the mini-model cave and other locations in favor of it.
Well, the whole idea is you want to try to take yourself with the logic and see where it plays you out. Well, the sick kid apparently only had a quarter of a heart. Maybe that's why he's sick.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly would explain a lot. But it seems a really bad idea for him to give away that last quarter of his heart if he's already sick in bed. Can't be good for his health. Ninjembro, meanwhile, also checking the well and picking up his sword and book. Well, Freddeh is going to pick up the Quake medallion in the Thieves' Hut shortly.
Yeah, first he's going to find out that fairies are going to be your prize tonight.
So Freddeh actually does pick up the red boomerang. I believe ninjembro actually left it lying there.
It looked like, just based on what ninjembro's rupee count is, he only got 20 rupees from the bottle vendor.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to make use of this little hut here to restock on bombs, which is a very good idea, actually, if you're low on rupees. Because with just 55 rupees in your... Well, no, not even. With just 36 rupees, you can't even afford the bombs here in Kakariko Village.
Well, one of the things these runners could do early on is give us a pedestal check, but we're not going to see that.
No, I doubt it. Like, Freddeh was in the best position to give us a quick pedestal check, but he opted to save and quit, and instead head over to the back half of Escape to find the 2 hearts there.
So far, the NPCs like handing out their hearts.
Yeah, they certainly do. It's a very healthy seed so far.
Gotta love those healthy seeds.
Yeah. I imagine Freddeh is going to go further into Hyrule Castle at this point. Probably diving all the way down to Zelda's cell to check the chest there.
Makes perfect sense at this point. You got yourself a sword, so you got something to kill the guards. You might as well check it while you're up here.
Exactly. You never know, it occasionally holds something really valuable. In fact, on the previous seed on this channel, the runners found both the mirror and the hammer in this section of Escape. If these two are lucky, well, if Freddeh is lucky, they'll find something very similar here.
So far, not starting off that well with bombs.
A couple of bombs is quite convenient for him at the moment, at least, because he doesn't have any, or didn't have any. Ninjembro is making the more traditional South of Hyrule play.
And inside the swamp, there's a possible good item in here. We don't know what. Well, 50 rupees, that's not quite the good item you're looking for.
It's still early enough that money is valuable, at least.
Well, that's even less valuable, finding the map.
Yeah. Still has Zelda's cell left to check, and if he's feeling brave, he might set up for a dead warp and check the dark room in his cave.
Watch there be a small key. Hey, look, we found the blue mail.
That's also quite nice. It's always a super convenient item. It makes everything, including checking the Ice Rod cave, a lot safer.
And what do we see inside the cell? Oh, well, that is valuable.
Yeah, that was definitely worth checking, and now he can very easily check the back half of Escape if he just goes to the Sanctuary. But he's opting to go for South Hyrule as well. And we'll be seeing shortly what the Meaning Dome Cave holds for us.
Nothing but a bomb upgrade, a heart. Hey, there's a shot, a mushroom, and 50 rupees.
And the mushroom, who knows, the mushroom might be something good as well. If you find it this early, it feels like it's a lot more likely to pay off than if you find it very late in the game.
So Freddeh in tow, he'll be picking up the hook shot and the mushroom coming up in just a moment. Well, if he doesn't fall into a hole any more times.
Yeah. He's actually kind of close to falling down, and unlike Ninjembro, he didn't check the dam, so he doesn't have blue mail. But he'll also be picking up his shot at mushroom.
And now into the Ice Rod Cave, and we'll find out what's going to be going on in here. Might be a check we don't see Freddeh make. Who knows? Well, it's only for 20 rupees. It does look like Freddeh is going in that direction.
Yep, he's probably going to make the play on that as well, because, well, with this amount of rupees and no moon pearl, there's very little point in trying the fake flips unless you really want to check the hobo.
I like this play from Ninjembro going on over to Srashla's hut. Sometimes there's something very important over there.
Yeah, it can pay off massively sometimes. If you it's always one of the more interesting items you can actually find there is the bow, in my opinion, because then you can just go straight into Eastern.
Nice that the hearts are the stun prize pack.
Yeah, that's also very nice. It's always handy if you can refill an emergency that way.
Well, bombos and red mail.
Wow, this is a very, very defensively oriented seed if you check the right locations. Wonder is he... Yeah, he must be going straight into Eastern Palace since he didn't save and quit.
As Freddy's going to check the back of Escape, that's something you were imagining these guys could do.
Yeah, that's... I always like checking. I personally always like checking out almost immediately after getting the gloves because it's a really quick check and it's still 3 more chests. And they already found the map already too, so it's actually quite possible that these are the final 3 items.
Hammer! And 2 pieces of heart. That means the small key is the last remaining one that's inside that dark room.
Yeah, so that's paid off really well for Freddeh, and he's just a moon pearl away from being able to access the dark world at this point. Well, just a map in the first chest in Eastern Palace.
That's correct. Freddy is now just 1 item away from Dark World access. The Moon Pearl.
Yep. Let's see where he goes next. It's looking like he's going to make a play. It's looking like he's going to make a play for Dead Mountain.
Ooh, this would be a sequence break for him because he doesn't have the lamp.
Yeah, but I can definitely see why he would make that play, because he does have the hook shot, so he can actually check quite a lot of Dead Mountain already. Oh, and the hammer as well, so he can even check. He can even do Hera if he chooses.
He's got no way to Hera. Oh no, yeah, he does have the way to Hera. He got the hook shot. Never mind.
Yep.
Will the sequence break actually pay off here for Freddy?
It's definitely a worthwhile play at this point. Let's see. That's the big key.
That is indeed a big key, and ninjembro right now is checking some. Oh, we found bottle number 3. This is a very defensive seed, as you mentioned.
Yeah, this is going to be... And there's the vanilla bow. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's
an interesting place for it.
That is a very interesting place for it. It puts ninjembro in a position where he can just finish Eastern Palace right now, as long as he's comfortable with the dark rooms. And considering this is a main tournament match, I'd be very surprised if he isn't.
That's the type of thing that will mess a runner up because of the fact that it's a vanilla spot, and we don't know how long it's going to take for Freddy to get on over there. Freddy's making a lot of progress finding other things out, but ninjembro now is going to be able to beat this dungeon.
Yeah, I could imagine Freddeh putting this off for a very, very long time at this point, especially if he finds even more progression items.
So we know that the lamp cannot be where ninjembro is at this point.
Yeah, and it's possible... But if Freddeh finds it, it means the flute is available somewhere relatively early too, because he's not supposed to be able to get up. Yeah. And the
mirror. Ooh. So you are supposed to come up here and take the trip on over to East Death Mountain first. And ninjembro made it kind of look easy with the room with the Igor.
Yeah, that was very deftly handled.
Again, how far ahead Freddy is in the sequence and the logic that is, all depends on one major thing. Where is the lamp?
Well, the flutes, but probably the lamp.
And good decision here from the ninjembro, grabbing some extra arrows for the trip on over to the Yarmos. And we're not going to see Freddy head on over to Spiral Cave just yet. He's going to wait for after Hera to do that.
Yeah, no, that's very sensible. Saves you a extra trip up the mountain. Or... Oh, he's going to check Spectacle Rock quick. And
Whoa! Titan's mid!
There's that vanilla green pendant on Ninjembro's side, but those mitts are certainly something to find this early. But also definitely something he's not supposed to have yet.
So there is Freddeh heading into the Dark World and going to claim himself some Titan's mitts once he gets done being a mushroom. And meanwhile, Sassarella, just 10 arrows.
He's
Thanks
just
for playing.
like, well, here, you killed those almost knights, you probably used a lot of arrows on it, here's a couple of them back.
And we're going to find out what the item here. Oh, magic powder at the ether.
I have seen that be massively trolly in the past with that tablet in particular. A couple of the recent seeds we've seen have had something like that lead into the ice rod from Turtle Rock.
And Jumper's going to get his power glove in just a moment. Freddie's exploring through Tower of Hero, which we don't know if he can finish just yet because it all depends on what's in this chest right here. Big key, he can.
Yeah, but he might get unlucky and be locked out of the final item in here still, and it's going to play on his mind. That might make him more likely to pick up that powder later.
And here's the thing with what Freddie's doing right this moment. He is still ahead of the logic as far as we know. He's in a pendant dungeon. And judging on where that flute ends up being in the logic, it could be presumed that he needed to have the lamp to get up here.
Mm-hmm. Very likely, yeah. It's the more likely item of the two to be required for this. That's just arrow caps, the upgrade. That's at least one of the items in here.
If this big chest isn't a small key, then we know the small key's at Moldorm. If it's the map, then, well, that's bad news.
Sure is, but we'll see in a second. And it's a small key, so we'll be in suspense until Moldorm is killed.
Now let's explain something really fast right now because people are asking about it in the chat. The hammer only works if this is swordless. This is open as opposed to swordless. So if you have no sword or the level 1 sword, you can't claim the item. You have to come back when you have the master sword. But if you have the book, it will tell you what the item is on the tablet.
It was actually quite a tense Moldorm fight too, with him only having 2 hearts left.
Yeah, and you see him trying to stay away. He just needed one more hammer. He got it. Is this the map? Is this the second item? It's the piece of heart. That's lucky there for Freddeh.
Yeah, that's gonna be a load off his mind. He won't have to return to Hera. Ninjembro, meanwhile, picks up his power glove and is about to pick up his hammer. Yeah, it was the hammer.
Yep, that's the hammer. 2 pieces of heart. So my next question is, what's in the desert, or what does Agina have?
Yeah, those are close to the only 2 real locations left right now. Obviously, Freddeh is going to make a play for Spiral Cave while he's up here in Dead Mountain, but according to the logic, he's definitely not supposed to be up here yet. So it is very likely that Desert Palace or Agina holds the Moon Pearl.
And Gemma's going to be making the same play as well.
And as I said before, I do not blame him at all, because this was a very opportune moment to make this sequence break, because they could check most of the light world parts of Dead Mountain, and, well, as we saw on Freddeh's side, that definitely is something that pays off quite well.
And 20 rupees, that's all we have found. Now, because of the Titan's Mitt, Freddie's going to also be able to check all the East Death Mountain, the Dark World stuff.
Yeah, he will have to be super bunnying there, which is actually... You don't actually see that very often anymore with the progressive gloves now. Generally, you find the Moon Pearl before you find the Titan's Mitts nowadays.
Oh, we get a map check. Ice Palace is the other pendant.
Yes, and I believe I saw 5 and 6 in Turtle Rock, and Misery Maya.
All right, so this is the Super Bunny for Freddy. He's going to go up the steps and then go down a hole. And because the game says, hey, you shouldn't be here, but you ended up falling in, it's going to give you the abilities to move around. And we're going to see that come into play here for Link. And that 4, he's now going to further sequence break himself to get 2 extra chests.
Yep, it's been very sequence break happy right now, and I almost wonder if it's going to pay off even further.
The amazing thing here is that right now, Freddy is going to be making himself 2 steps ahead of the logic.
Yeah.
And gets himself a boomerang downgrade and a bomb upgrade. That's not what he really wanted to see there. And people were mentioning, actually, was it you who mentioned it, or was it chat that was mentioning about him being able to check Spike Cave? He can't just yet.
That was just that. I think that was chat doing that, because I realized he was not going to be able to do that as a mushroom.
Yep, because he doesn't have the Moon Pearl, he cannot check Spike Cave. You need to be able to have your Moon Pearl to give you the ability to use the hammer and then, of course, lift up the rock at the very end. Plus, they are not technically supposed to be there, but then again, that hasn't stopped them from making other sequence breaks.
Yeah, one thing that actually did kind of surprise me is that Freddeh just saved and quit after grabbing those 2 chests without checking what medallion was required for Turtle Rock while up there anyway.
Ooh, that's right, because now the only reason why he's got to go up there later is to get to Spike Cave or make his way over to Hookshot Cave.
Yep. That's gonna probably be a while before he checks that. He does get his blue mail at this point though, while ninjembro picks up the mirror in the Paradox Cave at the same time.
Ninjembro seems like he's behind, but he does have the intelligence that the bow is in Eastern Palace, and that's something that we may not see Freddy go for a while.
Yeah. Exactly, and we do know now that Palace of Darkness is a crystal, so in addition to being required for Ganon's Tower as always, we'll also be needing the bow for one of the crystals.
Freddy's going to go into Desert first, so he'll check Agena coming up in just a few.
And to answer a question in chat, the sprite Freddeh is using is Marissa, I believe, which is a Toho character.
And we do thank Freddy for entertaining us with the noises. If only he could make it to the sequence of the music, that'd be even more entertaining.
That would be quite impressive. And there's the big key, so we do not have a boots lock in desert this time around. We cannot complete it because we do not have a fire source, but who knows, maybe we'll see the lamp in this very chest that Freddeh is about to check.
Did we just see the small key on that torch?
Oh,
Moon Pearl!
That's the Moon Pearl. So Dark World access is now available for Freddeh on one of the very final locations he could check. I believe the only other spot he hasn't checked yet is Agena's Cave. Or wait, he hasn't checked Eastern Palace either yet, but, well.
He was going to save and quit. I think he realizes he might want to check Agena while he's over here.
And Ledge, of course, which is, I think, where he's heading first.
Well, he knows that that's rupees. That's going to help him with Zora.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a bit short for that, so... And, unlike the entirety of that mountain, Zora was actually available because they did find the myths already.
And Freddy's going to be able to make his way to the Dark World. Now, the access he has to the Dark World is not a sequence break because of the fact that the hammer and the glove were available in Hyrule Castle.
Yes, that is correct. He does, however, have the more convenient access in Kakariko Village because of his sequence break, which is going to help him save a little bit of time once he goes there.
So Freddy is going to be heading on over to the Dark World, and we're going to be able to see what the Hype Cave is. And you know from your experience, and I know from our experience with the version 26, this Hype Cave is not all that's hyped up to be. So, do you want to see a nice Hype Cave, or do you want to see nothing but money?
Yeah, we're gonna. I think. Like, I would like it to actually be a nice Hype Cave, but looking at the items they've already gotten, I have a feeling it's gonna be a disappointment.
Well, here we go. Disappointment number 1 is 20 rupees. Disappointment number 2 is 10 arrows. 3, 20 rupees. Number 4 is the flippers. And number 5 is bombs. Oh, that was disappointing.
I mean, flippers is nice. Flippers is nice. And quite important.
No, that's disappointing. Because that now opens up Swamp Palace.
It's true, and they are actually in a position where they can complete it if enough very. Oh no, wait. Oh no, wait. Never mind. They did pick up the mirror. Yeah, no. Swamp Palace is definitely open to them, and it's a hell of a place to check.
But technically, unless we find the flute somewhere, we're not going to find the lamp inside Swamp Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that mirror was in that mountain.
Ninjembro ends up getting 2 pendants already.
Yeah, the final pendant is actually Ice Palace, so if they find... At this point, if they just find the Fire Rod or the Bombos...
They already got Bombos. In fact, Ninjembro already got Bombos.
Well, Ninjembro actually did get Bombos, so yeah, we are actually in a position where, with both our runners combined, they could, in fact, already pull the pedestal, which makes it very likely it's actually required.
I like that. Well, we do find out that Quake is going to be the medallion required for Turtle Rock, which they already have. And that's the only reason when Ninjembro ended up going through the portal was to find out what was in that dark world.
Mm-hmm.
And now he'll head on over to Desert, and we're going to see him do the same things that Freddeh did in a little bit ago. Now, Freddeh, again, his knowledge comes from not doing some of the things that Ninjembro ended up doing, like going to Eastern, going to Sassarella.
Yep. And as we both know, Eastern was actually really important to visit this time around, just because it had the bow in its vanilla location. Just a piece of art from the chess game. And it looks like he's checking the rest of the village of Outcast. I imagine he'll be going into Thieves Town fairly shortly, because he does have everything to just complete the dungeon fully.
Yeah, Freddeh ended up lifting up that bomb a little too early, but, well, unfortunately it didn't turn out to be good. He blew himself up. Thank goodness for Blue Mail.
Yeah.
Inside the Sea House, we find an arrow upgrade. And by the way, with all the items that we have found, we can now officially eliminate Aghanim from being a requirement this seed.
Well, unless they really want those silver arrows, but
they don't.
Really, it's really not worth it at this point. There's no way it saves enough time to make up for the sheer amount of time it takes to go to and clear Aghanim.
No, they do not want those silvers.
No. Anyway, I'd like to take a minute to remind everybody that you should definitely follow our runners. They're putting in a good show right now, and if you like Rando, I'm certain they stream it all quite often, so... So do give Freddeh and ninjembro a follow if you can. And there's the bug net in Thieves Town. And the Moon Pearl for ninjembro.
Now they can be Aghanim.
Yeah, it is pointing towards the silver arrows after all.
Have you ever seen a mushroom wiggle?
Well, only here in Link to the Past. Both when Marissa here turns into a mushroom and when it's lying on the fourth floor in the vanilla game.
And ninjembro is going to go ahead and pick up the 300 rupees.
Yeah, like I said, it's a sensible play at this point because they did need that money for Zora. It's going to be interesting to see if ninjembro will decide to make use of his Moon Pearl and fake flipper, or if he's just going to go straight into the Dark World. And
so ninjembro,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say ninjembro's heading right straight to the village of Outcasts. He's not going to go ahead and check the hype cave, so he's only going to be missing out on the flippers at this point.
Yeah, but he'll probably just loop back from the village of Outcasts to the hype cave and pick him up along the way.
Well, that's correct. So it's not much. It's not like he's missing all that much. But at this rate, just with the items that we've seen so far, I'm getting a funny feeling that Swamp Palace is going to have something.
It's looking quite likely. It is, of course, one of the most dense locations in the game as well. But yeah, they found everything to clear it quite early on. It's not a check people usually want to make early though, because while it is one of the most loaded locations in the game, it is also one of the most time intensive to actually go through.
And also, if ninjembro doesn't get those flippers, it's not like he's going to be missing on all that much. He can fake flipper his way over to where he needs to go.
Mm-hmm. He will need to pick up those flippers eventually to clear Swamp Palace for the crystal it has, of course, but I imagine he'll also shortly be making the Thieves Town play Freddeh is already making. Which hasn't really paid off outside of the net so far, but they've got to do it anyway, so they might as well.
Yeah, this has turned out to be quite the uneventful Thieves Town so far. Really uneventful.
Yep. I mean, it is really it is a really nice one for the fans of the Nets, but that's definitely not something everybody is looking for. That does mean that tier 1 tree pool with the fairies might pay off a little bit more, because that is a really easy way to fill up those bottles. It's Freddeh is about to fight Blind. Looks like a neat start here.
Yeah, this is not a stressful fight with the amount of health that he ends up having at this point.
Let's go a little bit off script, but I've seen some people actually prefer fighting Blind this way instead of keeping up there, so... And Blind goes down.
And Blind has the compass, so apparently that's why Blind couldn't find her way out of the dungeon. It was pointing her to the room with the light.
And that's our first crystal of the seed.
At 33 minutes and 48 seconds, grabbed by Freddeh. So it sits there and makes you wonder where you stand in this run when you get your first crystal at 33 minutes in.
Yeah.
Especially how fast Freddeh picked up the Titansmith.
Yeah, it's very unusual actually with the sheer amount of items they got earlier. It's taken so long, but it's partly been because of the Moon Pearl hiding so well compared to
so
compared to a lot of seeds.
Digs 1 through 30. Let's find out what it's going to be.
I'm going with dig number 13 as my guess for this one.
You want the maximum? You want to torture these guys with the maximum?
Yeah. Look, I find it interesting to see
I'm
people's
sorry.
different digging techniques, but no, it's number 17.
17, unfortunately. As we found out in the first tournament, if you have the breadsmith behind you at the digging game, something is following you that I do not like, which is what led to the Froggy World Tour made famous by Parisian player.
Yeah, that was really interesting to watch, just him going through the entire Dark World with the frog in tow. It looks like Freddeh is instead going to do the hammer pegs without the boots, which you often see people do in this version. It's slow, but it's still better than having to go back for this later, and there's always a chance that this hides the boots.
And nothing but a 20 rupees, unfortunately for Freddeh. Now, here's the interesting part. We know what is in the Ether tablet.
Yep.
What if it turns out to be required?
Oh, as I said before, I have seen that. I have seen a similar situation with some fetch quest item on the Ether tablet leading to a very important progression item before, so if they're particularly unlucky, this will happen again.
We say goodbye to the frog. We say hello to Gary's lunchbox, or the purple chest.
Yeah, I saw that holding the bow not too long ago, actually. Of course, on this seat it won't be holding a bow, but it's definitely something that can pay off, and for Freddeh, it's along the way of checking a bunch of other things here anyway.
I'm still curious to where this lamp can be.
Yeah, it could be in this very lunchbox. Oh no, wait, it couldn't be in this very lunchbox actually, because this is locked in the midst of Undead Mountain.
Oh, there's the ice rod.
Ice rod. That's one of the major troll items out of the way. The bow was in Eastern Palace. Let's answer a question in chat.
And to kind of talk about what people in chat are talking about, now there is a thing called the glitch you can do with the mirror, with the get the item from the Batcave. If you have a mushroom in the Cane of Samaria, but you need to have both of them, and you can't have any magic when you try to do a Cane of Samaria. It is a minor glitch. It is allowed here by the rules of this game, but because they don't have the Cane of Samaria, they can't check that just yet.
Looks like ninjembro will be following in Freddeh's footsteps. It's going to check the digging game, and then probably the smith into the purple chest. And especially for ninjembro, this is even more worth doing because he hasn't been to 5k.
Oh, there's a sword upgrade.
There's the master sword, so it wasn't particularly trolly this time around, at least with the routing taken.
And now for the Bombos tablet. 20 rupees.
Ah, that's disappointing.
But now Freddeh does have access to the powder if he so chooses so, but you're not going to make that move right now.
No, he is not going. I doubt he's going to go back up there for just the powder.
Absolutely not. There's no reason to go up there right now just for one item. Now, he does have access to the Hookshot Cave too while he's up there, but you kind of want to have more of a purpose going up there.
I think he'd at very least want a cane, and since he hasn't personally checked the Total Rock Medallion, as I recall, he's probably going to leave that off for later for that reason as well. Instead, he's going to make the play you were predicting and going into Swamp Palace, which I definitely don't blame him for.
Yeah, I think there's something going on over here at the Swamp Palace. And what it is, we don't know.
It's still interesting to note that this Swamp Palace is one of the locations that couldn't have the lamp because of where the mirror was.
And if it has the lamp, then we know the flute's got to be accessible somewhere.
Yep.
Like, pretty much, if that's the case, then the eliminations are down to almost pretty much Skull Woods, which I'm surprised in this logic, neither of them made the play for it, but they all seem to be following the same footsteps. Single arrow found.
And yeah, that's also a very important arrow to find. It isn't going to make the difference on Ganon this time around, but maybe it'll make the difference on Ice Armors, or in the mimic, or on the mimics in the upper floors of Ganon's tower.
Ninjembro about to get the ice rod himself. He's going to go to the Hype Cave next, and that will probably prompt him to go into the Swamp Palace as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine him skipping out on Swamp Palace while he's in the area. Because it just lines up so extremely well this time around.
Answering chat, Fire Rod could very easily be a nice palace, and Ninjembro does have access to the bombos.
Yeah, in fact, looking at the layout of the items right now, there's actually very few locations the Ice Rod or the Fire Rod cannot be. It cannot be in Ganon's Tower, it cannot be on Trinex, it cannot be in a couple of chests in Turtle Rock, and it cannot be in the deep end of Skullwoods, but otherwise it's freely available anywhere in the world.
So far nothing found in this swamp, but we've only checked the first 2 chests, single arrow and a 20 rupee. Freddie's going to go up north.
Yeah,
so
very standard play here.
The question now becomes, when do we see the pedestal possibly come into play? And while we wait for Freddie to come up with something new, we could see anything that these guys are lacking right now collectively could be on that pedestal.
Yeah, in fact, I would say that's, at the moment, the most trolly item that could possibly be on the pedestal would be the Fire Rod, because that's going to make him check that location very late in all likelihood, because people normally combine that check with the Skullwoods.
If I'm Ninjembro, I might think about going into Ice Palace at some point in time and checking to see. We've now found 4 items inside Swamp Palace, and so far nothing good.
Yep, and once he picks up the flippers for Ninjembro, the Ice Palace is just fully accessible at this point.
And that is
it is also yet another location that is only accessible because they sequence broke, however.
And yes, that is correct. Lamp cannot be at the pedestal because of where the Titansmith turned out to be.
And also, in addition, because Eastern Palace is pendant and that requires dark rooms, so the lamp just cannot be there for that reason too.
Technicalities. So far, Ninjembro seems to be stalking what Freddie is up to, and at some point in time, we're going to have to, again, see a play being made by both of these runners. And it's just surprising that how much these routes are kind of echoing each other when there's so many options out there.
Yeah, it's interesting, but in a way to see this kind of leading them to take this particular route the items found.
But that's the thing, Ninjembro has 2 other options he can do besides what Freddie's doing. He could go into Palace of Darkness. He could also go into Ice Palace.
That is definitely true.
Argus defeated! Argus, Fire Rod!
Oh my. Well, that's also going to open up the Ice Palace to Freddeh now. So I imagine, personally, since it's the pendant dungeon, he might be more likely to actually go towards Skullwoods at this point and combine that with the pedestal check.
5 out of 6 items grabbed by Freddie, so he's leaving 1 item behind. It is not a huge gamble, but what if that 6th item is important? He's going to take a calculated risk.
On a siege yesterday, I definitely saw a west side item be very required when one of the runners decided to make this very same claim Freddeh is doing.
Don't
so
forget.
It's a risk.
Don't forget. We need the boots.
It is absolutely true.
And the reason why we need the boots is technically there's a small key on the torch.
Oh,
So
yes, you are correct, yes. That's how the logic works, yeah.
Freddy's now in Ice Palace. This is a move kind of expected at this point because of where he found the fire rod. You've got to make a play while you're over here. This will give him 2 pendants taken down. And when will he go to Skull Woods? Will he go to Skull Woods right immediately?
I could definitely see him making that choice. Especially since, unlike ninjembro, he's lacking the bow, so he won't be as inclined to, well, go to Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness.
Ninjembro's going to check the west side for us.
That's going to be interesting.
We have the map, we have the compass, and we have the 6th and final item of Swamp Palace remaining. And what items do we still need for go mode for both of these runners? Well, collectively, we still need the Cane of Samaria. That's definitely required. We need to know where the lamp is for logical reasons. And the flute.
Yeah. We also
and there's
the boots are also required for logical reasons, and possibly for Ganon's Tower.
And there's also a possibility that ether will be required. We don't know that, and we have no way of knowing that until we find the flute.
Yep, that is correct. Let's see if ninjembro's decision to actually check left side swamp pays off compared to Freddeh's decision to skip it.
Well, we're going to have a yelp from me if it does turn out to be important. And it's the map. And it is going to be the boots! What are those?
My. The interesting thing is that the boots they are an extremely good item to have, but they may not be. They are logically required, but they may not be actually required to complete the seed, so it's very possible that we'll be seeing a boots versus no boots race today.
The 6th item that Freddeh has left behind are the boots. Now again, we don't know if they're required, but they could be. There's the 2nd item in Desert that is currently hiding behind it. And then also the possibility of Ganon's Tower being required, and also, finally, the 2 items that are over in the graveyard.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, because it's a decision that might bite Freddeh very badly.
So ninjembro, not sure how he's feeling about this seed. Now, once again, his big difference against Freddeh at this point is that he's got the bow, which was in its vanilla location in the big chest of Eastern Palace.
It's also interesting to note that even though we haven't seen neither runner open the big chest, we know it has to be the compass now.
And there's no reason for ninjembro to go. He knows there's a 1 in 2 chance, and he's going to let Argus tell him what he needs to do next. And he'll be extremely happy when that 6th and final item comes on down, the fire rod in this swamp palace.
Yeah. It is quite a lucky find, I gotta say.
And also, transportation purposes, ninjembro will be moving all around a whole lot faster than Freddeh is at this point.
Indefinitely.
Now, it's not a lot of time, but it's kind of adds up here and there.
Yes, there's just a number of rooms that are also just so much more convenient to traverse without taking much damage or without taking a fall with the boots. So those can add up to more than you think, even outside of just the if you perform perfectly with or without the boots margins.
Fire Rod, the pickup for Ninjembro. Where does he go? If I'm him, I would almost try to make the play on Skull Woods. He's got 2 out of the 3 pendants, and going to Skull Woods at this point would tell him whether or not he needs to go get that 3rd pendant.
Yep, but instead it looks like he's heading up north, so I imagine he's going to make a play on Palace of Darkness.
Well, that's another fair place to go, too.
Yeah, well, he does lack the lamp to complete it logically. The Fire Rod actually takes care of a lot of the more finicky dark rooms in there.
Tempered Sword in the Ice Palace.
And it looks like we got juked a little bit by ninjembro because he's checking the Lake Hylia Islands and this possibly going to the Ice Palace after all. Or is
No, he's checking Hobo.
I do believe Night Runner has actually checked the Lake Hylia vicinity right now. So we haven't seen Zora or the waterfall or anything like that.
Freddeh going up against Cold Stare. This is going to be a much better fight now that he has. Okay, well, he does have a green goo in a bottle. That's good to see, because I was worried he didn't have enough to finish this fight off.
No, he's just... Thankfully he picked that up from one of the chests earlier.
Ninjembro checking to see if the boots lead him to somewhere.
Yeah, that will be interesting for him and interesting for us. He actually seems to be heading straight to Skull Woods.
That small key means...
I could definitely see him just going into Skull Woods, checking the pedestal, and then from there checking the rest of the Northern Dark World. It's very convenient.
Kane and Samaria cannot be at the pedestal now.
Because Cold Stare dropped a small key.
Cold Stare dropped a small key. You need to have the Kane of Samaria by logic in order to get that crystal or that pendant.
Yeah, it looks like we, as far as our pedestal candidates, in that case, we just have the the flute and the ether medallion left.
Shovel, 1 of 2 items in Skull. I think Freddie's going to be making the same move that Ninjembro is currently making, and that is going to head on over to Skull Woods. That would tell him whether or not he needs to be Eastern. He has to go into Eastern.
He definitely has to. So like we mentioned before, it will probably be a while before he actually decides to go there. And if he's particularly unlucky, he will actually find the Cane of Samaria soon, and that'll open up Turtle Rock to him.
So just to explain what we were mentioning just a moment ago, because of where that small key dropped from Cold Stare, it means by logic this game expects you to have the Cane of Samaria in order to beat it. These guys don't. That's because they did the Ice Palace bomb jump to skip the key layout. And speaking of Cane of Samaria, wouldn't that be nice to have that right about now for Ninjembro as he's trying to deal with this room?
It certainly would, but it looks like he's just making use of the fact that he has the red mail to not worry overly much about the Gyptos.
He should just use this bombos and get rid of them.
Yeah, or his Fire Rod for that matter.
Well, that too. That would also work. Well, is this going to pay off? The lamp!
And there's the lamp. We finally found it. It was hiding in Skull Woods all along. So that means everything is solved now and they're actually back in sequence.
Yeah, maybe with that now, Ninjembro
is... Sorry.
I was going to say, maybe now we'll see Ninjembro make the play for Palace of Darkness.
I can definitely. There's definitely nothing stopping him from going there anymore now. That's a very good location to check.
Tempered Sword for Freddeh. Master Sword for Ninjembro. Think about it.
That's a bit of an easier fight for ninjembro, and with how close they are right now, we might see one catching up to the other.
It's going to be a
ninjembro. From a factual standpoint, ninjembro is actually still ahead because he has the bow and has cleared Eastern Palace. But it's always interesting to see a high five of sorts happening in these races.
I think it comes down to how well he can do this Mothla fight. We're going to get a pedestal check after this dungeon. Don't you worry, guys.
Yeah, it would be very unusual to see people skip it with these items. And with how easily accessible all these pendant dungeons were.
Mothla misbehaving. There we go. Mothla is down.
We did have a little bit of a high five here in the modular room.
Oh, Freddie's got him trapped in the corner, but he's down too. That's how fast the Tempered Sword can be against the Master Sword.
Yep, we have very momentary crystal sync.
Here we go. Pedestal check, guys.
Yep, get your pedestal hype ready.
Ether or the flute. Those are your two possibilities. And we don't know if the ether is required just yet. And the item on the pedestal. Just a little piece of love. No pedestals required seed. Freddeh did not check the chest there in the spike room, so he has not picked up the mirror just yet. Not the mirror, the lamp. So he's going to be checking this chest and then checking the other one to make sure where his item is. Is Ninjembro making the play for Palace of Darkness? That's got to be the right step for him right now.
Yeah, and he has to be going there.
He knows Ice Palace does not have anything that would be required for him to go all the way through at this point. Now, it does have the Tempered Sword, but I don't think Ninjembro is going to be worried about that right now.
No, it's not going to be terribly important. It is. The Tempered Sword does speed the game up significantly, but it's in no way required. I
think the way that this game gets sped up for Ninjembro is countered by the fact that he's got the boots, whereas Freddeh does not.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree on that. But you will actually be able to see how much quicker Ninjembro is going through this overworld right now compared to what Freddeh normally goes through.
Oh, I like Freddeh's use of the boomerang to shut those Gibdos up. That's great.
Yeah, that is actually really great, and something that's really easy to forget that is actually one of the very good things a boomerang can do for you.
And Freddeh now picking up the lamp. He is done with Skullwoods.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does with this lamp, so maybe it'll point him towards the premier dungeons with dark rooms, that is, the Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace, which would lead him to picking up the bow and, well, picking up the gap a bit. I think instead he's opting to check the Northern Dark World.
Makes sense. But if there's something important inside those bonk rocks or the King's Tomb, that's going to be trouble for Freddeh.
Yeah, because he will not be able to check that.
And Bumper Cave has an arrow upgrade. So we're not going to be coming back with the cape. Just think about this, too. At this point, these guys are not technically able to do Spike Cave because of the fact that they do not have the Cane of Burna or the Magic Cape at this point.
That is indeed correct according to the logic.
We do find our Fisher Price shield for Ninjembro.
Of course, with these 3 bottles they have, they could very easily opt to go there, but much like picking up the powder now, it's something that's going to be very late on their minds.
Wouldn't that be something if that magic powder does lead to something important?
Oh,
Cane of Samaria is in the graveyard!
I've got a great treasure there, and it's a Roderick Cane.
Freddie has everything he needs to go into Turtle Rock.
Yep, he certainly does. He is not aware that he does, though, because I believe he was the one that did not check what the required medallion was for Turtle Rock when he was up there. Ooh, and Ninjembro is getting knocked around a bit in the bumper dude room.
This is a case where he should just use the easier strat of bonking into the staircase that puts you back on the ledge, which is allowed. Oh, Freddie's doing the magic powder skip.
Well, we're going to see a bit earlier than expected whether this magic powder was actually important then.
Okay, so Freddie empties out his magic. This is important. He's going to hit the Cane of Samaria, then he's going to cut to the start menu, and then switch over the mushroom. And that triggers this bat. What does this bat have? Bomb upgrade. Oh, that was bad.
There go our dreams. Of course, the book did already pay off in bringing them the moon pearl, but still.
You know, it's amazing the amount of glitches you find thanks to randomizers. Like, for instance, we found glitches in Zelda 1 because of randomizers. Things called what we call the Kanana key clip.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only brought to our attention because of randomizer rearranging how you use the doors. And things like this, too, with... the shovel check. This is nice. Things with randomizer here. Oh, the magic cape.
Sadly, we already know the magic cape is not going to give us much in Bumper Cave, but it does open up the Spike Cave as an officially open location.
Yep, Spike Cave is now officially open to these runners. So, if I'm Freddie, where do I go next? I don't have the bow, and it's now an hour 2 in.
Looks like he's going to check the remainder of East Dead Mountain. He's almost certainly going to make a Turtle Rock play when he goes up there and sees what pendant it requires. And it's a very sensible play, all things considered. Turtle Rock is a very item-rich location, and it's been... I've seen it hold a lot of valuable locations in this current version.
For version 26, Turtle Rock is relevant. Answering a few questions, yes, Freddie missed the boots. He gambled on that last item in Swamp Palace on the left-hand side, and it turned out to be the boots, which is what ninjembro ended up picking up. But he went over to Ice Palace, which gave him the Tempered Sword, which ninjembro does not have and very unlikely to get unless he finds a reason to go into Ice Palace.
Yeah, because otherwise Ice Palace did not have any items at all, so if ninjembro decides to just continue checking his crystal dungeons, it's very likely he'll just never end up going there.
Now, both of these guys do have a mushroom, so will we see that get turned in? And great presence of mind from Freddie to realize that he's going to need magic if it does turn out that the medallion that he has in his arsenal is the one that needed to open up Turtle Rock, which, of course, is the Quake. We already know that from ninjembro's screen.
But of course, Freddeh is going to check the Hookshot Cave first.
There's the flute!
Oh my, the one item closer.
And that now puts us collectively in go mode. There's the half magic too.
And the 20 rupees. And yes, it does mean that outside of Ether possibly being quite familiar Maya, the only item that
You're
Freddeh
right.
is missing is going to be the bow, which is in Eastern Palace. Well, for ninjembro, he needs to make his way up the dark part of that mountain and find the last items he needs there. Or, oh wait, he also needs to pick up the cane, of course.
Ninjembro not saving and quitting gives me the idea that he might be going for Pyramid Fairy right now, or maybe Catfish.
Yeah. He might also just be checking Pyramid item in general, because neither runner has actually been there. Because they've just had absolutely no reason to go out of the way to visit that place yet.
Turtle Rock is almost completely linear, so this makes sense. You're not going to lose a whole lot of time, with the exception of Laser Bridge.
Yes, if I were in Freddeh's shoes right now, I would also opt to go into Turtle Rock to look for the bow over looking for it in Eastern Palace. It is the very much the sensible play.
But Ninjembro does need to check his north side of the Dark World.
Yep,
because
for him, the graveyard ledge holds the Cane of Samaria.
And that would get him to head on over to Turtle Rock, where he will find the flute.
If he does that, he is very likely in go mode, considering he has 2 out of 3 medallions. And I imagine he'll be very shortly checking with Remire after he finds the flute.
And now Ninjembro going to be picking up some potions, which is a very good idea for this remainder of this battle.
We also see that the mushroom item was just a little piece of art.
Well, it's good to know that you can put a little love in your heart.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, as chat is pointing out, in fact, we haven't had either runner go to Zora or the Waterfall Ferry yet, so the last medallion could very well be there, which would put Ninjembro in go mode as soon as he finds the flute, because at that point he doesn't even need to worry about what medallion Maya needs, because he will have it.
Where is it either? Who knows? We've never seen a trip to Zora, and Ninjembro is giving us that trip right now. ₹20 via the ledge. And that's disgusting when you go all the way to the island to find a map.
Yeah.
There's the ether!
Oh my, it is actually from Zora. Chat successfully predicted what the ether medallion was. Good job, chat.
So now when Ninjembro gets the flute, he will be in go mode. But when does he get to the graveyard ledge to actually get that discovery? Oh, Ninjembro's going back to the desert.
Yeah, he must be planning to finish off Lamolas.
Well, it makes sense, but the better sense would be to lump it together with the trip over to...
Yeah. I guess he's reluctant to make that trip up that mountain right now because he wants to be able to combine Turtle Rock with just heading straight into Ganon's Tower, which he will be free to do, in fact, once he finds the flute.
Yeah, but where you find the flute, you might as well just do Turtle Rock while you're up there.
Yep.
Between both runners, we are in go mode. We need to get both runners to that point.
Yep, ninjembro needs to get up to the East Dark Dead Mountain and check the Hookshot Cave, while Freddeh needs to make their way into Eastern Palace. Of the two, I'd personally say Freddeh is in a slightly worse spot because that is a more trolley location, really. But we'll see how things land.
₹50, that is the second item in the Desert Palace, and now ninjembro can just go right straight to the Lamolas and get on out of here. So it turns out that technically, even though the logic requires the boots in this Desert Palace, you can get away without needing them.
Yep. And in fact, it is the only real option that's going to make the boots hard required at this point is the big key in Ganon's Tower, possibly.
And you might as well do this while you're here. It is for crystal, you know, you're already in the area. It's the same reason why when he does get the flute, he might as well just finish off doing Turtle Rock. He's going to be able to do it in go mode too. And this is all going to be time that we will no longer, that we're going to see the difference between Freddeh and ninjembro.
And reading on chat right now, it is actually true that ninjembro also still missing the cane, so there is actually the very interesting possibility that he goes up that mountain and finds the flute there and is still going to be missing his cane and is going to make use of that flute to check a couple of extra areas.
Well, that's correct. This is not a done deal at this point. We cannot be coordinating a winner at this point. We cannot be saying that this runner is going to be winning this race. It doesn't really mean anything until we see a go mode. And don't forget, Freddeh still needs to go into Eastern and get the bow out of the vanilla location.
Yep, and that is still a very trolley location, ironic as that sounds. We consider it the vanilla location. But a lot of the vanilla locations are actually quite trolley if you think about it. Just because you'll never expect them to be there on the randomizer.
This Trinex is going to be different for ninjembro, and he's going to have a lot of fun with this Trinex. Freddie's going to be careful because he's down to 3 hearts.
Yes, I do believe with the blue mail contacts with Trinex will do 2 hearts of damage.
Never mind.
Yeah, he finishes off very smoothly.
Ninjembro going up to Death Mountain. We'll get the flute in shortly.
Yes, he'll be still missing his cane, though he won't be able to make his play going into Turtle Rock right here.
We're probably going to see Freddeh coming off the mountain. He is going to go probably check and see what we need. Or not.
I could see him going for Spike Cave right now.
Oh, that's why. Yep.
Yep, he could also, if he wanted to, pick up the Powder Alleys here, but since he's already checked the Magic Path, I imagine that's not going to be on the forefront of his mind.
Yeah, it just depends on how much he wants that safety for the fairies in Ganon's Tower. And judging by the fact he just pulled out the hammer, this is a Spike Cave check, and only a Spike Cave check. So ninjembro is about to pick up the flute, and we're going to see him make his way over to Kakariko Village right afterwards. Freddy's going to go find out what we get here in this spike cave. What's going to be the discovery for him next?
And just the usual big 20.
And the thing is, he only has 1/3 chance of getting into Misery Mire right now.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see on well, either runner side, because I'm not certain which of them will actually be going there first.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to please stand up, remove your caps, as Freddy makes the slow walk on over to Kakariko Village. It is time for the Swag Duck Anthem. Please honor it by posting your Swag Ducks in chat. Right about. Come on! Now.
That sounded like he was saying my name for a little bit there. Yeah, exactly. Ninjembro, meanwhile, is making use of this time to check the remaining bonk locations. Not going to find much for his troubles.
Please remember you've got the graveyard ledge to check, Ninjembro. It's right there in front of you. It's smiling at you, telling me to come please visit me.
It definitely wouldn't surprise me to see him going into Misery Mire before he actually goes and checks the graveyard ledge with the route he's taking. Which is going to be very unfortunate. But it does mean our race stays a little bit closer. Especially if it turns out Freddeh does not have the medallion required for Misery Mire.
And we're gonna find out in 15 seconds as people continue to yell at me for what I just did. If this video gets muted, wouldn't that be the better thing? Oh, the bombos! Freddy doesn't have it.
That's actually very lucky, because as I recall, that was also located in the Eastern Palace area.
Now, Freddy, while he is over here, will go ahead and finish off Desert, which is a good idea. Ninjembro, you've got to get up to the graveyard ledge.
Yes, at least not.
He's heading in the direction, though. Could he be making the move? No, he's just activating the Spike Duck. That's right.
Yep. I actually didn't realize he skipped over picking that up. Let's see if he floats straight to Mire or if he goes somewhere else first. Nope, he's going to go straight into... Oh, wait, that is the Mire. It was a slight mismenu. There we go.
Ninjembro is probably going to head into Misery Mire, hoping to find the vanilla, just like he did with the bow, and it's not going to be.
Yep, sadly, unlike the bow, this isn't going to pay off.
This is going to be a strange race once everything gets all caught up.
It sure is. I think Freddeh is, at this point, actually running out of locations that aren't Eastern Palace.
He has. This race for about 45 minutes seemed to be echoing each other, and then all of a sudden they just went on two big tangents, and we're waiting for those tangents to come back together again. Speaking of echoing each other,
They're both checking the checkerboard cave at basically the same time.
And they're both going to be very disappointed about it.
Yeah.
And now Freddeh heading off to Eastern. There we go. He's going to set himself up so he can do the Eastern and pod combo.
Yeah, so I wonder if he'll be going in which of the two dungeons he'll be going into first. The right play is going to be going into Eastern first, but a lot of people I know tend to prefer going into Palace of Darkness first because that works out neater when it comes to menuing.
He's also going to get on over to Sarashala's shed. Oh, no, not yet. Getting beaten up by the Murderodactyls, he's just going to go right straight to Sarashala's shed right now.
I do believe that's where he's going to finally find his red mail, if I'm remembering right from, well, almost an hour ago.
And the Bombos, too.
And the Bombos, too. That was a very important find. Let's hope that doesn't send him straight into Misery Mire, actually.
He's got the flu. We know what that means. He's going to Mire.
Oh dear. So both our runners will be full clearing Mire, though only one of them will be actually killing the boss in this particular visit.
So Freddeh now getting the Bombos. Now we'll be heading into Misery Mire.
And to quickly answer a question in chat, the cane is in the Graveyard Ledge Cave.
Neither runner in go mode. Ninjembro needs the Cane of Samaria. Freddeh needs the bow. There's also a chance that Freddeh needs the boots, but that's a 4 chance right at this point.
Yeah, in all likelihood, Freddeh will be safe to go in go mode as soon as he finds the bow.
Well, once he finds the bow, he's going to go as if he's in go mode.
Yeah. Well, even if he didn't, it's not like he's going to go back to Swamp anytime soon.
Ninjembro, where are you going, buddy?
I think
You're turning in the shovel.
Yeah. That's not going to pay off. He does get him the cave, so it might point him towards Pipe Cave.
Did he check Bumper Cave?
Send him... I don't think he checked Bumper Cave, so if he's lucky, that'll key him in on checking the rest of the Northern Dark World and picking up his Cane of Samaria.
He's going.
Looks like Freddeh is making the place to go straight to Vitrius, even though he hasn't checked all the item locations in Misery Mire yet, which is a very sensible play.
Yeah, he's making a gamble on that. Ninjembro about to go check Bumper Cave. If he goes over to the Graveyard Ledge afterwards, that means he's going to be in go mode. And he's going for Graveyard Ledge. Here we go.
Fine. Finally, one of our runners is going to make it now. Freddeh, in the meantime, I expect after beating Vitrius will go straight back into Mire to scout for the remaining items in there.
So, one bomb later, going through some pots, we're going to finally find a runner to go into go mode as Freddeh now makes his way through Misery Mire. We have no idea where these runners are in coordination with each other because they have finished different dungeons. And then Ninjembro picking up the Cane of Samaria at 1 hour 24 and 4 seconds. Ninjembro, the first one of our runners to be in.
Go mode, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And how nervous do you think Ninjembro is at 1 hour 24 finally going to go mode?
I imagine he's quite nervous, especially with where that cane of Samaria was found. Because that is a location he could have checked significantly earlier.
Now, I think at this point, ninjembro is going to have an advantage over Freddeh. He's got to finish off this remainder of Misery Mire. Then he's going up to Turtle Rock. It's also going to pay off on a route for him. And plus, he's got the boot, so he's guaranteed go mode.
Yep. There's not a single thing that can stop ninjembro from finishing the game at this point.
But the other part of this is that Freddeh just needs to get into Palace of Darkness. Now, I'm trying to remember. Where was the big key in Pod?
That is a very good question, and I do not know the answer. I do know, however, that with Misery Mire completed, Freddeh has just unlocked the access to the Pyramid Ferry. So and that is going to be another detour, but it is going to send him in the direction of Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace.
And Freddeh making sure he has not left a stone unturned is going to be coming back in here. What a bizarre race this is.
Yeah, it is a very bizarre race. Regardless, while our runners are retreading some grounds, I would like to once again make a shout out to both ninjembro and Freddeh. Give them a follow.
Yeah, be sure to follow both of those runners. Also, be sure to thank our tracker, Blastek, who's been working behind the scenes and making sure that everything is clicked when they need to be clicked.
He's been doing a jolly good job of it.
And we cannot call this race over with yet. Ninjembro's still got to get up to Turtle Rock, and he's got to deal with Master Sword Trinex. That's going to be painful.
That is going to be painful, and as far as we've seen, he will not be finding a sword upgrade anywhere along his path.
Yeah, he's guaranteed to have to do Master Sword Trinex. What happens in Ganon's Tower is a different story.
Yeah, Ganon's Tower might very well hold the final sword upgrade.
Otherwise,
very, very convenient for ninjembro.
And otherwise, it's 52 sword spins from ninjembro. And wouldn't that be a lot of fun?
Yeah, it is actually.
It isn't.
It definitely isn't. But it's going to be a very lengthy Ganon fight for him.
And I speak from a person who won a secondary race because I explored a couple of extra chests and found a tempered sword, and that made my Ganon's Tower a whole lot faster. So Freddeh can come back from this. Yeah. We're guaranteed that we are going to see no silver arrows from either of these runners. That means they would have to go for an extra 4-minute trip up Aghanim's Tower, and nobody wants that.
Yeah. Then let's not even forget to take into account how trolly Aghanim could decide to be with his with what kind of balls he decides to shoot at the runners. Because he doesn't always want to play the game of tennis. As for how we know for a fact that the runners will not be getting the silver arrows were in the Lumberjack Cave.
Yep, they're not going to be going back for that. Like I said, that's the amount of time it takes for these guys to do silverless Ganon. It's not worth going into the Aghanim's Tower to go defeat him at this point.
No, it would not save enough time, even compared to doing Master Sword silverless.
Freddeh now going to check the Pyramid Bomb, which, for us, we know cannot have anything to progress this seed. But maybe it might provide a Butter Sword.
Might provide a vanilla butter sword indeed, or another shield upgrade, or possibly even the other cane.
We know there are no swords in Turtle Rock because we saw Freddeh go through Turtle Rock earlier. There's a shield, but we're not going to see ninjembro get to that shield because the way the key management is, he should not have to do laser bridge.
That is indeed correct. In all likelihood, we'll be seeing ninjembro stick with his Fisher-Price shield for the rest of the game.
This stream is not brought to you by Fisher-Price. And if I'm the ninjembro at this point, oh, there's the other shield.
And the Cane of Burna.
Burna! Oh, safety's aplenty. If I'm the ninjembro at this point, I am thinking I am behind because of how late it took me to check Graveyard Ledge. I am thinking I'm behind.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I don't think he's going to check anything else. I don't think he's going to check over at the Mimic Cave. I don't think he's going to check Laser Bridge. There's very little reason for him to do so unless he thinks he's going to get lucky with a sword upgrade.
Yeah, I definitely do not see him going for that option. I certainly would not do so myself of our own issues.
Freddie's going to check Catfish, check Zoro. He'll have his Ether Medallion, but he's got to get into Eastern. He's got to get to the vanilla big chest where the bow is. And I am surprised that a runner has put off Eastern for this long.
Yeah, especially since it's actually quite often something people check really early instead. That's what we saw ninjembro do.
Yeah, ninjembro checked it early, and he got rewarded with a vanilla bow. And this was, of course, a pendant Eastern too, so there was kind of like a check me written to it.
Yeah, because as everybody knows, you always have to do the pendant dungeons in this current logic. Or, well, maybe not complete them, but you certainly have to fit them.
Technically, in this seed, you only really had to do one. That was Eastern.
Yes, that is correct. In fact, ninjembro never even visited the Ice Palace, did he?
No, because he's only got the Master Sword at this point, which is going to make things tough against Trinex, but he'll be fine if he's got the safeties he purchased back about 30 minutes ago at the
Witch's Hut.
potion shop. Yeah, the potion shop. Ether pickup there for Freddeh. That's not what he wants to see. And now ninjembro with 2 keys knows he can skip the roller room chest as well as the laser bridge. And if he checks this chest, this will tell us whether or not if he doesn't check this chest, we know he's not checking laser bridge.
Yep. And he is going to check this one.
A little bit of money, maybe hoping he'd get a sword upgrade.
Yeah, this one is really on the way compared to even the laser bridge, so I can't blame him. You can't blame anyone for just quickly checking that. It's on a similar level as people checking the validation chest if they're still missing a sword upgrade or something.
Freddie's gonna finally make the move.
Yep. Well, it's hard to say whether he's going into Palace of Darkness first or not, because this is sensible routing either way, because he can set up the portal very conveniently.
Alright, ninjembro is not going laser bridge. That's understandable. You don't want to deal with laser bridge. It takes too much time, and you have a lot of things that can make you hurt really badly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Even if I think it's sword, it might cost him more time than it saves.
And I think at this point, he would just like to keep his safeties for Ganon's tower.
Yes, especially it is a lot better to take the surety of those safeties than take the chance of there being a sword here on the laser bridge.
Alright, well, Trinex is not going to be a fun fight for ninjembro, but he's going to do some hammer strats, 5 hammers to each of the heads. He will be fine. And that's 4 and 5. Nice switch over before the head died. That's great.
That is actually very great, because it's actually fairly tricky with the hammer to get that switch in time, as well as getting the ice head, well, stopped before it freezes part of the floor. And especially if you're using the hammer, you do not want that floor to be frozen.
Head down, and Ninjembro has 2/3 of this taken care of. Now, Freddeh is going to tell us whether or not he knows how this logic works, because we've had this discussion before in several other of these tournament races about the bow logic in version 26.
There are only the chest he's going for right now, and the chest below this, the room he just passed by, are the only two other ones that could possibly contain bow.
That's correct. Now, he may continue to explore to get to the big key. And I think that's pretty much what he will end up doing. But there's only one other chest in this place where, for Freddeh, he would be able to find the bow. We know it's not going to be here. Anyways, Ninjembro is done with Turtle Rock. And, dude, this is your first time on commentary with me. I'm going to have you say the spiel.
Well, as everybody knows, we always like to play a guessing game when the runners start reaching Ganon's tower. So what chest, number, or location do you think the big key will be? Personally, I always like guessing the number 3, regardless of whether that's going to be the torch or the first chest on the right side.
Ooh, that's right. If this is on the torch, that's bad news for Freddeh. I'm going to go with number 6, though. All right, can we count to 22? 1.
Oh, that's number 1.
Green goo. Oh, there's the sword upgrade for Ninjembro. That's huge news.
Oh, that is huge. That's going to make Ganon a lot easier for him.
And small key on the torch. That is good news for Freddeh.
Freddeh is, in the meantime, also continuing to actually fully clear the entirety of Palace of Darkness, even though it cannot hold the bow.
Tempered sword for Ninjembro. Freddeh's still looking for the bow. And we're now at number 5. Well, I guess number 6, am I right?
No.
And it's not in 7 either.
That looks like it's deeper in. It's also worth mentioning that this is not a seed that encourages making the often made right side play after finding a key on the right side, because both the item, there was a bottle and a sword on the first 2 chests on the right side.
Nice boomerang shreds from Ninjembro, and now Freddeh is finally in Eastern. And he's going to be feeling sick in about a minute and 20 seconds from now.
Yes, because in addition to everything else, the bow was actually technically a Sphere 0 item. As far as the logic was concerned, he could have had it since basically the beginning of the game. And it is actually relatively lucky for him that it did not... Both relatively lucky and relatively unlucky for him that it did not lock any other items.
People are trying to figure out how many rage slashes. Well, we'll see. I'm going to guess 7. If I can't get the big key number right, I might as well get the sword slash number correct.
Personally, I'm going to guess he's feeling he's far enough behind that he doesn't even have time to defend his rotation, and there's the big key.
So if you end up guessing number 12 on the big key guessing game, you win a prize. Now, we can't give you that memed prize because that said commentator is currently calling another race, and we had to reserve it for that. We're going to give you what's in the final chest of the game, the one after Moldorm 2. What it is, we'll find out if either of these runners open that chest. If they don't, however, nobody wins.
I like that. That's devious. Freddeh is about to pick up his bow, and he just mirrors straight out, all businesslike.
Yeah, nothing else to see here. There we go. 3, 4.
I think that was 5.
I think that was 4, but maybe it was 5. It doesn't matter. It wasn't. It wasn't 6. It wasn't
Definitely
7.
wasn't 6 or 7. Okay, chat is agreeing with you on it being 4 slashes, so clearly I cannot count.
Well, just remember there is no 4.
There is no 4.
And Freddie, knowing in an hour 37 he's in go mode, or an hour 39 rather, he's in go mode.
I imagine
He's got to be. He's got to be feeling that he's strongly behind at this point.
Especially with where the bow was, because as mentioned before, the Eastern Palace is quite often a location runners check early. So finding the bow there as a go mode item is going to make you feel like you're a mile behind.
Well, the reason why Freddie's going in this direction was because he needs to get a key so he can progress down to the basement. He didn't have one, so he went up through the mimics to make sure he got one, and now he can proceed with the remainder of this dungeon as Ninjembro now goes up against the Lamolas.
That was also a very good fire rod Lamolas fight. I believe it was the one cycle.
But yeah, Freddie at this point knows he's behind. He knows how late he got that bow before. This was step 1 of the logic where the bow was placed.
Yep.
And what we mean by steps is at the beginning of the game, you're at step 1 of the logic where you don't need any items to get anywhere. And the bow was placed in step 1. You didn't need to have any items at all in order to get to it. Something like the Cane of Samaria, you needed multiple items to get to.
Let's see. Ninjembro is opting to not check any more chests here in Ganon's Tower. He does know he cannot possibly find the silver, so
yeah,
the only item he might get here is the golden sword, which doesn't make all that big a difference, really.
Yeah, he got the big prize. He got Tempered Sword, and at this point, it's a huge long shot that he would get Butter Sword, which we know he can't get anyways.
Yep.
And he's not even going to check the chest.
So chat is still left in the blank on whether they actually get a prize for getting, for those who got the number of chests right here. Maybe Freddeh will humor them.
I think Freddie's going to humor us a little bit, but he does finish off Helmisar King. Will make his way over to Ganon's Tower next. Don't know how many hits he got on Aghanim because we saw frame 1 and frame 17. And same thing here. We know he got a hit because Aghanim was pushed back.
I have no idea if it's actually so, but I think it's 2 doubles. We'll see if he takes one more hit at this point.
Oh, nope. Almost got the rebound there. That would have been nice.
So we might be anywhere from 4 to... there we go. That was hit number 6. So that means he got 1 double that we didn't see.
And now we head to Ganon fight for Ninjembro, hoping to go 3-1, which would qualify him for the race-off in this tournament. And he would only need to win 1 out of his next 2 races to qualify for group stage. And here's Freddie getting dead rock. This is exactly what you don't want to have happen when you know you're this deep in the run and you're already behind.
Yeah. They are very much the worst enemies in the game.
So Ninjembro is going to be getting some talk from Ganon about encouraging outside thinking. And it's going to be 12 slashes or 6 spins per stage up until stage 3 for hits, and then 12 sword spins to knock off Ganon and restore order to the land of Hyrule.
Bro is making use of the cape, knowing that he has a couple of blue potions sitting there ready for him to use if he runs low on magic.
So Freddie's going to still be, I'd have to say probably at this point, he's about 8-9 minutes behind Ninjembro.
Mhm.
Oh, we got the trolley Ganon, though, who doesn't want to allow any hits to be hit.
Yeah, he's certainly wasting a lot of time here.
Oh, did you find the arrows in the light world? Well, yeah, but I wasn't going to kill Aghanim to get to him. So there.
Ninjembro playing it safe with just letting the first it go by without even trying for it, so he can definitely get the torch glitch.
Yeah.
It's a very sensible play.
That would be 3 hits on him so far. And we've got 4 and 5 and the time to redo. And I know there wasn't going to be hit there, so that's 6. I'll guess that's 7, but I'm not certain.
Interestingly, Freddeh is going straight down left side without checking the right side chests first.
Oh, no Buttersword for him then. Oh, he might be going Dark Magician strat.
Yeah, which would be unfortunate because the randomizer room had to pay off for the big key this time around.
Now, Ninjembro, there it is. Ganon is down.
Yep, Ninjembro has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 45 minutes and 51 seconds.
And Ninjembro, once he goes through the door, he will be claiming his 3rd victory of the group of the Swiss stage, and he does with a timer of 1:45:51. And Freddeh leaves a comment in the IRC once he acknowledges that Ninjembro has won this seed with the words, "Vanilla Bow redacted me hard."
And it does look like Freddeh is making the full Dark Magician route here.
And welcome into the conversation, Ninjembro. Congratulations on your win.
Yes,
Hey, thanks.
congratulations.
So, as you already saw in the IRC, you know exactly what happened to Freddeh, as he had an hour 38 bow.
Oh, wow. An hour? That sucks.
Yeah, it was a very stark contrast compared to your very early Eastern Palace check, because for him it was literally the last location he could check in the game where the bow could be.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, I'm scrambling in my head right now to think like how much you could do without the bow, and I guess really the only thing is pod.
That's correct.
Yep. Now here's
the bow was literally only locking the pod crystal and the and Ganon's tower itself in this seed.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. You checked 6 out of 6 chests in Swamp. Freddeh checked 5 out of 6. Guess what that 6th item was?
He missed the boots.
No boots.
Oh my god. That's really unlucky for Freddeh. Like really really unlucky. Wow. Like I'm one of those runners that I'll full clear swamp. It doesn't really bother me that much. I know there are players that'll avoid it if they can at all.
That definitely helped you this time, because those boots helped you save quite a lot of time overall.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine that helped out quite a bit. I'm gonna hop into the Speed Gaming 2 chat just to see how he's doing and cheer him on. But that was an interesting seed, because as soon as I realized I was sequence breaking pretty hard, I started to think, what could I still do? Like, what does the seed want me to do versus what am I unable to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was interesting how many items you found in that mountain while you were not supposed to be able to get there yet. It wasn't actually locked that far away with the lamp being in Skull Woods, though. You got that quite late.
Oh, look, I just want to interrupt and mention that Freddie's doing Kana burner strats on the Armoses.
Yeah, I see that. And apparently I'm slideshowing here.
Yeah.
Yes, that started happening a little bit at the very tail end of your run. It
Okay,
wasn't really
yeah,
a problem for the most part, thankfully.
For the most part, I have pretty good internet, but it can get spotty at times.
Yeah, it had a few jumps here and there, but so when you got over to Skull Woods after getting the fire rod out of the Argus fight, how nervous were you about the pedestal being required?
At that point, like, I wasn't too nervous because I already had 2 crystals. But I still decided to check it just to be safe. Just because.
Well, it happened to
You
line
guys
up
hear
really
me?
well. We can hear you. It happened to just line up really well with you checking Skull Woods anyway.
Yeah, it was I wanted to check that just to be certain, but I was pretty certain there wasn't going to be anything there.
The only other difference was Freddie did pop into Ice Palace, where the other sword upgrade was.
Yeah, when I found that tempered sword, I was happy.
Oh yeah, we were gonna ask about that, but first, the battle for the Canis Samaria for you. How difficult was that for you as you're coming towards the end, trying to just go figure out where you're going, and made your way over to the Graveyard Ledge? I'm just trying to see what's going on, Freddie. That was a weird boomerang shot.
I believe the boomerang actually clipped through the south wall there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like to me too. That's a powerful boomerang. I'd like to get the vendor for that.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
I'm gonna pop back into the stream again. My internet cut out there for a second, I think.
I see. You did seem to stay connected to the voice chat just fine there.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that bomb blast almost blew him into the teleporter. That would not have been good.
Horrible, because he
I
isn't
just saw
about to
that.
find his big key.
But
So anyways, how about the Canis Samaria location?
yeah, I mean, I didn't have too many locations left at that point, so I decided. Hold on, I gotta respond. Next frame, please. Feels good, man. Kappa. I knew it had to be either, like, I decided to do that North Hyrule check because there were a few locations there that I could check. I guess that was the only place left, really, and the Bumper Cave. But it was between doing those or doing Ice Palace. And Ice Palace just didn't seem worth it when I can get 2 quick overworld locations. If I didn't find it in either of those, I was going to do Ice Palace over Spike Cave, obviously, which was the only other overworld location I had left. And I was just hoping that if it came down to that, that wasn't the gamble that would lose me the race.
When you found the Canis Samaria, did you have an idea that you were behind?
At the risk of sounding cocky, not really. I felt that if anything, we were about neck and neck. Because I felt other than a couple small gambles and a couple small things you could do in the seed, felt pretty straightforward to me for the most part. I think Freddie had a really bad break by not getting the bow.
Yeah.
I think had he gotten that a lot earlier, it would have been a really, really close race just with the way the seed played out.
It definitely would have been.
I actually do believe that if Freddeh had checked the Eastern Palace significantly sooner, he would have probably been in the lead, because he found the Cane of Samaria significantly earlier than you did.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that hunt for the cane had me a little bit worried, but once I found it, had I not found it until, if it was an Ice Palace, I would have been just completely destroyed, because I would have been like,
Yeah.
he went here before me, because everybody, even me, I usually go Ice Palace as a gamble. So if I do it, everybody does it, it feels like. So if that would mean that Freddie did it, and if it was there, it was game over for me. Fortunately, it wasn't there.
Yeah, on the other hand, to what I was saying before, because Freddeh found Kane so early is also why he found the bow so very, very late. Because it entitles him to check the entirety of Turtle Rock and Misery Mire and even the Pyramid Ferry first before he even decided to check Eastern Palace.
Oh, wow. And yeah, I guess I just realized and remember that Eastern Palace was a pendant, so like there was no rush to go in there.
Yep.
But I'm a big fan, like especially early, if you don't really have much that you can do. Like I'm a big fan of doing Sarashula and Eastern, even if Eastern's a pendant, just because between those two, it's 5, possibly 6 items.
Yeah, it does seem like that Eastern early play does pay off more often than it does not. So now you improved to 3-1. You've now qualified for the race-off coming up at the end of this Swiss stage. But one more win in your next 2 weeks, you're guaranteed a spot in the groups.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. But I'll actually admit this. Like looking at the bracket right now, the 3-1 bracket honestly seems way scarier than the 4-0 bracket. There's very good players in the 4-0 bracket, but there are so many players in the 3-1 bracket that are just terrifying to go up against.
Yeah, some unknown man named Christos Owens is in that.
Yep.
And my buddy Zero Rush got to play him in the first week. That was entertaining for all of us except for Zero Rush, obviously.
Yeah, poor guy. Going up against one of the very biggest names on this very first round.
But yeah, we have, just looking at the bracket right now, we have Christos, Gem, Mike the V, DT, Zero Rush. I could end up going against my buddy. We joked about that happening when we were hanging out a couple weeks ago. He said that if I remember correctly, he said he might send his wife to cripple me before the race.
To break your controller.
I said, you guys don't know where I live. You haven't been to my house since I moved. You don't know where I live. Couldn't do that. But yeah, there's a lot of good players in this tournament period. I mean, a lot of good players in the 4-0, a lot of good players in the 3-1, and I mean, you have some really good players in the 1-3 bracket right now, even.
Yep, that is absolutely correct.
I mean, you have Willard. You have Problems is down in 1-3 right now, I believe, after his race today.
That is correct. I was tracking that race before this one, and he definitely lost that one.
Yeah, this tournament has just been crazy with the results so far, and I'm excited to see who all makes it to the group stages.
Oh, Freddie's going to bomb the chest.
There will be forever left in the dark.
Oh, 3 bombs inside. So apparently the chat who ended up guessing number 12 in the chess game earlier, well, you end up getting those 3 bombs. Congratulations from all of us here at Link to the Past Randomizer.
He did check the validation chest. Well, obviously, Freddie actually won this race because he checked the validation chest. I obviously made a trip to Grill and Chill.
Mm-hmm.
Did you give me a milkshake?
I did not, unfortunately. Sorry, man.
You know, I had to be sitting here talking about you for an hour and 45 minutes. Couldn't get something to help quench my thirst?
Nope.
Fine, see if I do your commentary when you're 3-1.
In this economy, can't just get everybody milkshakes, man.
Oh my, he's switching over to Swagger M strats.
Oh, where's the Bugnet? He should be going with the Bugnet strats.
Yeah, that's what he's doing right now.
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit behind on the stream.
Yeah.
There it is. But yeah, I'm gonna hop on out of here. GG to Freddie. Thanks everybody for watching.
Yes.
And thank you two for doing commentary. And I'm not sure who's tracking, but thank you to the tracker as well.
A wonderful tracker Blaster has been handling things wonderfully tonight. Make sure to give him, in addition to our runners, a follow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's ninjembro. Congratulations. Now 3-1 in this tournament.
Alright, thanks again, guys. See you later.
Yo. See you later.
And a big thank you to Blast Egg, who's been tracking for us this 2-hour run. As we get ready for the finale here, Freddeh going up against Ganon. And because he does have Butter Sword, this is the same procedure as far as the spins at the end, 12 of them. But he only needs 6 slashes.
Yeah, he'll have a slightly easier time with these first 2 phases. Because there we go, that's already phase 1 completed.
Yeah, he's just adding on extra hits for good measure at this point.
Yeah, I might as well play it safe, to be honest, make certain you haven't miscounted.
Yeah, he didn't get all 6 hits he needed for the end of stage 2. That's why we're seeing this secondary run of the bats, but that's because he was too early in some of those bad strikes.
Yeah, it's worth noting that if you have played this yourself, the phase 2 doesn't start. Phase 2 damage doesn't count until Ganon starts spinning his trident. Any damage prior to that counts as phase 1 damage, and you can hit him as much as you like, but once he's past that phase 1 threshold, more damage doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, did you find the silver arrows in the light world? Well, yeah, you did, but you can't grab them.
Yep, nobody went out of the way, very understandably, to grab those arrows off of the lumberjack cave. And in fact, they would have needed an additional step to even check those, because he never got the boots in Swamp Palace.
Oh, yeah.
So even less worth doing for him.
Now halfway through this fight. Gonna say, Freddeh, please don't fall off the edge.
Nah, I think he's got this. He's been doing a very good job so far.
Yeah, he's got this fight pretty well in hand. I think he's done one more hit. Make it one more hit right now. I think that's 11. There we go. Getting down.
There we go.
And get your GGs in for Freddeh.
Yeah, and Freddeh finishes with an official time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 6 seconds.
You mean he didn't walk off the edge before he did that?
Nah, doesn't like it.
Did you hear that? He just gave a nice little fire rod shot just as he was going in there.
And he'll be joining us here shortly.
Baby. And welcome
hey guys.
to the conversation.
So are boots in left side swamp or tile room? Do we know?
They were in the left.
They were left side swamp.
Your
good times.
Your rifle on this run did in fact pick them up.
Yeah, I figured that it was one of the two, and it probably wasn't tile room. So, because silvers being where in what bonk rocks? One of the two bonk rocks.
The silvers were actually
This
in the
lumberjack.
cave.
Oh, lumberjack cave. Nice. That thing I never checked.
Yeah.
Good times.
So if you really wanted those, you would have had to kill Aghanim as
Yeah,
well as go
yeah, I
to the
guess.
left side swamp. So I don't think that would have been worth your time.
Guess I wouldn't have gotten those anyway. Boots sure would have been worth my time, though, just in general at that point. That was a mistake, one of many.
Yeah.
I'm sure if Magus was in chat, he was laughing at me that entire time for
I
how
really
I
wasn't
didn't find a
feeling-
bow.
Yeah, nasty spot for the bow being in its vanilla location.
Well, I've been
because-
arguing with a couple people half of the week about never go into EP or pod without bow. But I also made the consolation that if it's pendant, go in there anyway. And I didn't follow my own advice, and it screwed me.
It
Oh
definitely
well.
It's especially true because ninjembro actually checked the Eastern Palace very, very soon. It was one of the first locations he actually checked in the Light World. He picked it up significantly before he even got, I believe, his hammer or his moonpearl.
Oh yeah, I believe it. That moonpearl spot was interesting. I was gonna go into EP actually after once I saw it was pendant because I'm like, oh well, green pendant. I kind of want to go in there with bow, but I'll see what's at DP area first just to play that risk, and ended up opening up the world for me.
That's basically the story of this seed. Like, he could have gone and picked up that bow at any time, but there was always more new things for you to do.
Yeah, Death Mountain was interesting this seed.
Yeah, because it was technically there were a lot of very good progression items there, and it was technically a giant sequence break.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I shouldn't have like Titan mitts or mirror or like flippers up there too, or flippers in Hype Cave.
Flippers were in Hype Cave.
That's right. I was kind of confused. I'm like, okay, where am I going to find the lamp and or flute? Lamp ended up being in Skullwood, so it wasn't really that big of a sequence break, but
we were definitely both wondering when that lamp was finally going to turn up, because well, that ended up being a very late check for both of you.
Yeah, I've been getting burned by Skullwoods lately, and everything kind of set up for a great loop from Thieves Town to Swamp Palace, so I did that whole loop before checking Skullwoods this time.
Yep, you both did that, in fact.
Yeah, not surprising. It's not a bad idea.
So, talk to us about your Ice Armo strats, deciding to use the Cane of Burna.
That was more of a throwback to Entrance Randomizer. All my Entrance Randomizer tournament guys will recognize that strat as something that someone used. Because Ganon's Tower in Entrance Randomizer, for those who don't know, you tend to find relatively early in seeds sometimes. Like, and we had a seed where someone only had, I don't think they even had a sword at that point. It might have been Fighter Sword, but either way, he had basically nothing that could actually hurt the Ice Armos except for like bombs and maybe Cane or something. I don't know. But he had the Cane of Brian, and he used the Cane of Brian and just grouped them all up and killed them instantly, or as fast as using almost the bow would. Like, it was, and we're just like going insane in chat and commentary. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So that was kind of a throwback to that. I wish I remembered the guy that did that initially. If I looked through the list, I'm sure I could, but
yeah, probably. But it was very fun to watch. I've actually never seen somebody do that before. I'm surprised how effective it is, actually.
Yeah, it actually works a lot better than you think. Like, I haven't practiced it enough lately because I haven't done Entrance in a while to do the full 6 group, but I figured showing that off would be fun since Ninja was finished by the time I got into GT, really. Good times.
And your decision to go ahead and bomb the crap out of the Moldorm 2 area and then finally pick up the chest so we could actually reward the people who picked number 12 in the chest picking game.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was trying to just blow up the top of Ganon's Tower at that point. Figured enough bombs might blow it up, and apparently that didn't work. Maybe next time.
We'll see how it goes.
Next time.
You drop down to 2-2. One more win gets you into the group state, the race off. So your thoughts going into week 5?
Well, let me see how many chests this was. 179. Okay, well, my goal is to do way less than 179 and something more like my last week's race. I think. Has anyone gotten a faster time than that yet?
What was your time?
Got 114 or 112 or something like that.
I don't think so.
No, I believe that's definitely the fastest win of the tournament so far.
Yeah, it was. This was the opposite of that seed for me, unfortunately. Almost 100%. I missed like a couple chests in Pod and EP. That one Boots chest in Swamp.
Yep.
And then the chest in Desert Palace that was completely not even needed. That was kind of a...
Yeah, I believe that was 50 rupees, if I remember right, from ninjembro's stream.
Oh, did he end up... Oh, actually, he got boots from
Boots,
Swamp,
so
right? Yeah. Yeah, Swamp was one of those calculated risks. It was so early, and I had gotten the Fire Rod off of Argus with only one item left in there. I'm like, it might screw me, but there's too much else to check, and hopefully I won't get screwed by it. Yeah. And then, of course, I get Bombos out of Sahasrara, so I get kind of sidetracked on that one. Go back to my.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys were like, "Why was he not? No, he's going! Oh no, he got Bombos.
It was just the final cherry on top of this particular seed.
I'm sure I was already behind by that point anyway. So.
Yeah, at that point, I believe Ninjembro was already in game mode.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, another Turtle Rock where you complete everything and it has nothing in it.
Yeah, such a fun Turtle Rock tune in addition to the ones we've seen in the past. Anyways, congratulations. Well, good game for you, and good luck to you in coming up in week number 5. So we can say congratulations.
I sure hope so.
All right.
Hopefully I get more chance to practice this week.
All
Not
right.
likely, but we'll see.
Follow both of these runners, Ninjembro and Freddeh, and we're going to be getting ready for another race coming up. Supposed to begin in about 15 minutes from now between Carcat and Manachi, and should be a lot of fun. We'll get to see who wins that race and all that fun stuff. So let's get on out of here as we wait to set up for the next race. I'm Adirondack Rick. Dude, it's been fun playing with you here, or commentating with you.
Yep, it's certainly been fun commentating with you, you as well, Rick. And
you send us on out of here.
Yep. Thank you for watching, everybody.